everybody, and welcome to a spooktacular Bob Stoops app today as we're talking about all the big matchups heading into Week 9. Brad McMullen along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, and a real big battle in the Big Ten. Michigan State, Michigan, both teams undefeated.
Really exciting game, really a good football game. Michigan's defense is as good as I've seen and watched all year, really tough. They do a great job running the football, and their quarterback, they're really smart. He only has one turnover the whole year. He takes all the easy throws. If he doesn't like what he sees, he checks it down to his back. They do a really good job not forcing the ball, and they play clean. So offensively, they're really strong. Again, defense as good as I've seen. And then Michigan State, Peyton Thorne, their quarterback. Next to C.J. Stroud, probably the best guy in the league, can play anywhere, really a good player. They've got some big play receivers downfield. They got the number one running back in the Big Ten, Kenneth Walker, really a strong back, good player. So defensively, they're not quite as good as Michigan, but very solid. They're in the middle of the pack in about every defensive category. So this is going to be an exciting game. It's at Michigan State, so you give them a little bit of a bump, but really an exciting, fun game to watch. And I know our big noon kickoff team are for Fox here. We're all going up for that game Saturday.
Should be exciting. Michigan favored by 4. Do you like the road team getting the win?
I like Michigan when you look at them in about every category, offense, defense, other than maybe passing the ball. Michigan's a little bit better everywhere, and I believe they'll be able to go in and handle that. Michigan's going to be in big crowds everywhere, so that's not going to be new to them.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's hard to believe when you've got a name like Michigan, you're not getting much respect. Undefeated, ranked number 6. I think after this week they will get some. Iowa at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is actually the favorite in this one by 3.5.
You know why? Because of their defense. Jim Leonard, the D coordinator, does a great job. And everyone's talked all year about Iowa's defense. Phil Parker's done an incredible job there. They have the advantage in turnovers. They've got like 16, 17 turnovers they've forced. Iowa has. But oddly, in about every defensive category, who's first in every category? Wisconsin. So, but Iowa's right on their heels in about every category. So it's who's offense, which each of them have been pretty just average. Neither offense is very explosive, and Wisconsin runs it just a little bit better, and Iowa throws it a little bit better and runs it decently. So that's going to be the trick: who can come up with enough offense and or turnovers to change the game. So that's going to be a heck of a game.
And I think that's the key. In the 6 wins Iowa's had this year, they were winning the turnover battle 14-0. In the awful game against Purdue, they lost that.
Exactly.
So that's going to be a key component.
A lot of times people think that's just coach talk, turnovers.
No, what are we talking?
It's extra possessions, and losing possessions are a major deal, especially in these tight, close games.
All right, a big game in the Big 12, Texas at number 16, Baylor, and the Baylor Bears are the favorite by 3.
They're a good football team. I watched them a lot this week. Agreed, just watching them. Offensively, their quarterback can make plays. He can run the football. He throws a nice ball. They run the football well. Defensively, very sound, very good everywhere. I believe they'll struggle a little bit handling the run game with Bijan Robinson. If anything, they can be a little bit weak there. But overall, really solid team. And Texas defensively, they're susceptible to the run. And Baylor's the number 1 rushing team in the Big 12. So that tells you right there, they're going to get a heavy dose of the run game, and I think they're going to have a hard time stopping it. Casey Thompson, I like, has gotten better and better through the year, making bigger plays, more plays. But I think Texas is going to have a hard time with Baylor.
Yeah, that will be a scary situation in Austin if Texas loses on the road at Baylor, and I would say that the honeymoon would be over for the new coaching staff there. All right, a game you've coached in, the biggest cocktail party, Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville. Georgia, a monster favorite in this one by 14 points. The last time, though, Florida was a 2-touchdown underdog was against Alabama, and they almost beat Alabama this year.
Yeah, it's exciting game. They play it's the old Gator Bowl is what I call it, because that's what it used to be when I was going down, when I was at Florida. And the only difference, everyone here is used to splitting Cotton Bowl north-south for OU Texas. They split the stadium east-west with with Florida Georgia. But a great game, a great venue to go see, and really a good game. I agreed that their defense is just unbelievable, and Florida, it's going to be interesting. Can Emory Jones, he's been up and down depending on which game. He's had some really good games. He struggled in some games, but I just think Florida's going to have a hard time scoring against and moving the ball against Georgia. And Georgia does a little bit everything right on offense. Nothing real explosive, but they protect the football. They run it. They don't ask their quarterback to do anything dangerous, just easy throws, and they do a good job with them. So it's going to be, I don't see Florida being able to upset them at all.
And you've talked about it on the show multiple times, just how many 5 stars Georgia has. And they've also been really healthy on the defensive side of the ball. So
Right.
You've got great talent and you're staying healthy on one side of the ball. That's going to be quite the advantage.
I think before the season, I read they had 19 of their 22 starters, or 18, were former 5-star high school recruits. So that's as good as it gets. So that's some good talent around.
Yeah, Kirby's doing a good job there.
Right.
All right, so Texas Tech at number 4 Oklahoma. You would think Oklahoma was 0-8, but they're actually 8-0, the longest win streak in the country, and they're going to be facing an interesting opponent because the opponent doesn't have a head football coach this week.
Yeah, that's interesting. Coach Wells being let go earlier this week at a 5-3 mark, and with so many games left, but I'm sure they have their reasons. OU, I really believe, I guess people roll their eyes, Coach Riley, everyone, it's coming, we're close. We are, that is true. To put it all together for a full game, I believe that'll happen. And hopefully it happens this week and carries on through the back half of the season. We're a good football team when playing 4 quarters of football, so we'll see. But I believe Caleb Williams, again, another start under his belt, more experience on the field, that will matter. And so we'll see where it goes. But I like OU in this.
Yeah, and Caleb obviously made the plays against Texas to help OU come back. He looked really polished against TCU, and you can't deny the fact he led OU to 35 points in the second half against Kansas. Should be a lot of fun there Saturday afternoon. Another big game, Ole Miss at Auburn. Auburn is actually the favorite in this one by 2.5, and Ole Miss has looked really good the last few weeks.
Ole Miss is explosive. Matt Corral's as good a quarterback, throwing the ball, handling that offense as anybody, and rushing the ball. He has almost 500 yards rushing. He's an athlete, and they get explosive plays even in the run game. But Auburn, they do a nice job overall in every category. Defensively, they're really solid. And, Bo Nix, I love their quarterback. He's a scrambler, a fighter. He's one of my favorites watching him. I've just seen him getting chased all over the place, and he never comes out of the game, finds a way to make a play, throws it downfield or scrambles for a first down. I've seen him diving for first downs multiple times. So, anyway, and I believe Brian Harsin, their coach, does a really good job, and he'll have them ready for this. It's going to be an exciting game, but I agree. I think Auburn's a really solid team.
All right, Kentucky at Mississippi State. Your brother's team 6-1, and they are favored by a point on the road in Starkville.
Yeah, hopefully for Mark, I'm going to be biased here, my brother Mark, that they can. I believe in their run game. They're physical. They're tough. They've got a great run game, and they got a tough quarterback as well. And they played really good defense so far. They've been really solid. They're in the top part of about every defensive category in the SEC. So hopefully all of that together can combat Mike Leach's crazy, wide open air raid passing attack, because that's what you're going to get. So hopefully I'm sure they'll scheme it up and have some good strategy against it. They're going to need it, because Mike does do a great job, and then hopefully they can control the ball on offense to keep Mississippi State sitting on the sideline a little bit more as well.
And also, what Mississippi State team will Kentucky play? Is it going to be the one that really took it to Texas A&M, or is it the one that took a vacation against Alabama?
Yeah, it's interesting, and who knows why those things happen, but that'll be a factor in it as well.
And get ready to hear a lot of cowbell there in Mississippi State. All right, Penn State at Ohio State. Penn State did not look good last week. Ohio State favored by 18.5 points in this one.
Yeah, again, watching Ohio State, they've made great improvement from the beginning of the year defensively. Mm-hmm. They're playing more multiple defenses, more coverages, mixing it up, disguising. So it's not giving the offensive coordinator a free call. I see what you're in. I know what the best thing for me to run is. Same thing with the quarterback, not making them work after the snap. Oh, they went from a 2-deep look to a 1-deep look, and the windows all changed for your passing lane. So they're doing more of that on defense. So it's really helped Ohio State. I believe that'll be more complicated for Sean Clifford, Penn State's quarterback, to be able to handle it. Ohio State's hitting on all cylinders. C.J. Stroud, you could tell, has really come into his own and is he's been for the last several weeks comfortable back there. He wasn't the first few weeks.
No, he was staring down receivers against Minnesota. He paid for that against Oregon. You're exactly right, Coach. He has improved a lot.
As well as easy, intermediate, short throws, just gunning them or just not comfortable of being relaxed back there. And watching him now, he is. And I think Ryan Day does an exceptional job with quarterbacks, and as an offensive play caller is really special. So you could tell it's his influence on C.J. Stroud is really paying off, and and they've got a good running game with it. Defensively, they've made improvements. Penn State's really solid defensively, but I don't think it'll be enough, to be able to handle C.J. Stroud and that explosive offense.
All right, our final game we're going to talk about today, Mack Brown in North Carolina on the road at Notre Dame. A lot of hype on North Carolina to start the season. They have not lived up to it. Notre Dame has survived some games. Should be interesting. The Vegas odd makers have Notre Dame favored by 3.5.
Yeah, it just seems like Notre Dame would be favored by more. I just believe in their physicality, running the ball, their toughness. Jack Cohen, their quarterback's a solid guy. And defensively they've been really good. Marcus Freeman, I believe their coordinator, is really watching them. They're really solid on defense. And in North Carolina, I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of them, being that they dropped off so early in the season. Sam Howell, their quarterback, was preseason on the Heisman watch, has really just had an average year. So I would be surprised if the physicality of Notre Dame doesn't really win out and at least win by 7 or more.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, you would think with the point spread being so close that it may be at North Carolina. It's not. It's in South Bend. So I like Coach Kelly and Notre Dame in that game as well. Don't forget, you can win lunch with this guy. You just have to register right here inside the Bob Stoops app. And don't forget, for videos anytime, 24/7, just tap on our video link. For Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen.